maybe a little longer than that, but we'll get up there. Oh, that was pretty quick today. All right, let me post this here. This takes a second to get this thing going. There we go. Paste this here. We paste this here. Move this here. And I think we are live. There we go. Hey, David. Hey, Cam. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. We got Marshall. We got David. Marshall, I hope you're feeling well. Ivano, Robert, Omar. We got a lot of folks in the house today. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Sharing is caring. David says, dry as a bone here. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Especially if you're in the pit. If you're in the pit, it's a really good morning for you with holding those ENPH and Lulu. Come on, who held ENPH and Lulu short over the weekend? You can say it. You could say it. Let me share my screen here. All right. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. All right, let me put on the futures here so I could say hello to everybody. Let's see, indices. Oh, we're only down 900 points on the NASDAQ. Good morning. Good morning, Carlos, JB, Randy, Ricky, Scott, Frank, RP, Alan, Pat, Kenneth, Zoe, Heather, Karen, Zoe, Ricky, Debbie, RP, Carlos, Ben, Scott, Zen Master, Robert, Richard, David, JB, Carrie, Wayne, Rich, Gary, Peter, Duzzy. We got Cam. Remember, Customer Service Live, also known as the Cam and Gustavo Show. 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Time on Monday through Friday. All right, I want to show you guys something, and I'm not trying to rub it in, just want to show you something. Take profit on Enphase. I like the stock as a swing too. Lulu would make a great swing trade, in my opinion, too. That was Friday afternoon. Now, about half the room kept Lulu, and let's see what Lulu's up to right now. Short. Oh, Lulu's down only $10. How about Enphase? So here's what you guys are going to do today. Tell me if we have a deal. Enphase is only down 7 points. Sorry about that. So why don't you guys do yourself a favor at the open? Get out, send Uncle Roger a nice email posting about how much money you made. Do we have a deal? Here's my email address. If we have a deal, say thank you, and we have a deal. And tell me how much you love the pit. Good morning, Rochelle. I know at least 100 of you took Lulu and Enphase home. I know that for a fact because we have over 1,000 people in the pit. So that's your instructions. And I'll tell you on Telegram, you're going to liquidate at the open. You're going to send Uncle Roger an email telling him how much you love the pit and how much you made out like a bandit. Do we have a deal? I'm pretty sure we have a deal. Told you guys not to go long last week. You're welcome, Jim. But you got to send me an email. Because I want to know. I want to enjoy this. I want to vicariously join this success via you. And also, who told you last week to stay away from the long side? By the way, we practice what we preach. Look at our trades from the pit last week. Well, Clyde's trades. And you will be sending me an email. And Rochelle will be sending me an email. Right, Rochelle? I know who you are. So, Let's look at last week in the pit. We went short Ben. We went short PDD. We went short CrowdStrike. We did a debit spread to the short side on Tesla. We initiated a short WDC. We initiated a short Merck, a time spread which we're still holding. And if we get a bounce on till Friday, this will be worth money. We closed out this time spread on Square with money. We shorted Lulu and we shorted Enphase. My point here is not to brag. My point here is to show you how we don't try to pick bottoms. I know. It is the best, isn't it, Ivano? Sorry about that, Eagle Beagle. So your job is to send me a nice fat email telling me how much you love the pit and how much money I've been making you with Lulu and Enphase. So do we practice what we preach? Of course. Now, those are all trades looking over my shoulder that we took last week. Nothing that was notice, no long trades. We follow a plan. We follow a routine. We don't mess around here. All right, let's start. And yes, I am sharing my screen. Look at that. We got 330 people here within 5 minutes. We may break our record, Dr. Serena. We need you here for our record keeping. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, Cam. She did have a good run. Speaking of good run, I'll be live today at 1 p.m. with Jack Carter. We'll be talking about my top 3 stocks. Don't miss out. Jack Carter is very, very cool. That's happening today at 1 p.m. Little known stocks set to surge. It'll be in the next 10 days. I'm giving you my 10-day watch list at 1 p.m. And join me for my pit. My VIP room, which happens at noon Eastern time. Rochelle, call customer service or call Cam. They will get you in the pit. They will get you in the pit, Rochelle. There's no reason for you not to be in the pit. Penny, how were you doing last week with my shorts? Let me know. I want feedback. Feedback. All right, let's talk about the markets. Crude oil. No funny business. So crude oil. Crude oil didn't make that cut last week. I gave you a couple of short stocks. It's still going down. If the U.S. economy enters a recession, we're going to be in a pickle. If we're going to be in a pickle, it's going to be kind of like a COVID season where everything slows down. That's not good for energy stocks. Today, Rochelle, today. All right, gold. Gold's not really moving too much lower, but it is moving down. Again, it's not good for the global economy, and we're not seeing flight to quality. Sorry about your loss, Cam. Really, sorry about your loss. We're approaching the 50-day moving average. You guys know what happens. We usually bounce off the 50-day moving average. Also, I would expect money to start coming into the gold market if we're going inflationary. If we're going recessionary, no soup for any market. But if we're going inflationary, that's very good for the gold market. Bonds are seeing a very strong flight to quality. As you guys could see here, this is not because of Fed lowering rates, because this is where the money is coming into. Whenever the market has a downturn like this is very, very much expected. There's a level that we may hit, which is right here on the TLT, which happens to be a little bit over 100. If you're not in the pit, some of the trades you call go the opposite way. I don't even know what that means, Avatar, but the pit has not given you bad advice. Let's put it that way. Hello, Gaston. Rochelle. So the level we're looking at right now is 100, and money has not gone into coin or cryptos at all. All right. So just to let you know, we are seeing flight to quality. Volatility is approaching. This is COVID levels right here. So you could see we're approaching panic selling. When we're approaching panic selling, that means markets are pretty close to bottoming out, okay? Also, FANG stocks are out of the way. We already know that Warren Buffett sold 7% share of Apple. By the way, guys, I just want you to know something about Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett was really, really good 20 years ago. In the last 15 to 20 years, he has not done all that much better than the market. The reason for that is his fundamental approach has made ways because algos are controlling markets, algorithms, and they trade based on momentum. That's why most big successful hedge funds, really good successful hedge funds, have doubled the performance of Warren Buffett over the last 10, 15 years. Doubled. Not a little bit higher, doubled. So Warren Buffett was very, very good when meat and potato stocks were, but right now with mathematicians running the show, he doesn't stand a chance. He can't stand a chance against a PhD because algos are running the markets. And Warren Buffett is not a mathematician. So, and I'm not really saying anything negative about him. I'm just saying that he was also very negative about cryptos and Coinbase and saying that it'll never take off. He's a little out of touch with reality because of his age. Again, I'm not saying anything negative about Warren Buffett aside from the fact that he has not been able to outperform the market for the last 10, 15 years. And his methods are largely outdated. Not because he's a bad guy or because he's dumb, but simply because the markets have changed over the last 20, 30 years. Technology has made an advancement. Most stocks are tech stocks right now. And Warren Buffett is a value investor. And it's very hard to find value in the market these days because everything is arbitrage because of algos. So my point is, don't go and make Warren Buffett this big know-it-all 20, 30 years ago. Yes, not in the last 5, 10 years. Okay. Kid might get his bike. Yeah, kid might get his bike. And remember what Powell says, they're fluid. They're doing things line by line. But this is telling me the market is being driven by fear. There's no common sense or logic. And those type of moves tend to revert. Also, look at the E-mini S&P. We're approaching the 200-day moving average. Okay. Look at the QQQ. We're at the futures, the Nasdaq futures. We're at the 200-day moving average. Exactly, Thomas. Exactly. Yes, of course. VIX doubled, TLT up reactory, flight to quality. Very, very normal. Very, very normal. I'm not going to make any apologies because we've been taking short trades, and most of our stocks are we don't have a lot of exposure anywhere right now. And in the pit, we're short. So I warned you. I told you. I hate to say it, but I told you. Remember the last several weeks where I've been going here and saying we have a big vulnerability here. We have a big vulnerability here. A big vulnerability. Remember that? Well, we're now tethering on a bear market on the NASDAQ 100 and on the NASDAQ composite. On the 50-day, we're way below everything. S&P's 56%. The 200-day is very healthy. So we got plenty of room over there. Very strong move to the upsides, Cam. Very strong moves to the upside. And remember also what I said. This is the first quarter since 2020 when earnings on FANG stocks don't seem like they're going to outperform. And I gave you guys key levels. And I said, if we don't go up to these levels, no soup. Remember, for example, on the QQQ, I said, if we don't go up above the 50-day or maybe even up here, the 487, don't go long. Hey, Dr. Serena, the bean counter's in the house. Thank you, Dr. Serena. The QQQ is coming off the 200-day moving average, and we're below value. So we're in panic mode right now. Yeah, we only have it. We're only in 13 minutes. We usually have to wait about 30 minutes to get 400 people in. So to me, this is just panic selling, and this is going to revert. Now, if you're in the Gap to Green program, we're going to have some great gaps the next couple of months after this. I mean, we're going to have some amazing gaps. So that's really, really good. Also, remember when I gave you the story on my sectors, which we're going to talk about right now, and I told you guys that I give you a story. I don't just give you the top stocks. I give you a full story. And the story was very simple. We were in semiconductor stocks. Chip stocks were up here. Then chip stocks sold off when I'll talk about it, Michael. Stop trying to ask a girl to marry you at the bar. Stop it. Figure out if you're going to a gay bar or a straight bar first. Okay? Figure out if she speaks English. In the hospital, won't be in room tomorrow morning. We're praying for you, Moondog. We're praying for you. Michael, you're jumping the horse. You're jumping the horse. We will get to all of that. So because what's the point of me telling you what the catalyst is if you don't know what the response to the catalyst will be? Yes, yes. And I'll talk about that too, Penny. We'll get into all of this. No, they're not. They're in email, and Gap to Green is a regular program. All right. So whatever the catalyst is always dependent on what the market's doing. The catalyst has to match market performance. So me giving you a catalyst and not taking the market into account would be completely useless. It would be like giving you a story and only giving you half of the story. We have to know what the market is doing so we can make sure the catalyst matches the market action. For example, let's say I have crude oil inventories and I have tech stocks in action. Well, the catalyst isn't going to impact the market because the catalyst doesn't match price action. That's why I spend 20 minutes going through price action before I get into any major catalysts. And that's what I'm about to do right now. So let's talk about the market. Let's prep our movie. You know how before you start a new series, you see the previous episodes, the preview, so you can get in the mood, so you understand what's relevant right now? That's what I'm going to do right now. So a few weeks ago, Google had earnings, and Google earnings weren't bad, but Google said AI is in the crapper. It caused all AI stocks to start moving lower. During that period of time, we started getting sentiment that earnings weren't as good on the FANG stocks, which caused a further explosion. Ba-boom! At that time, we were getting really good news about home builders and interest rates. And we started seeing home builders and interest rate stocks come up. But that lasted only about a week, and we started seeing market cap move into defensive stocks, Dow stocks, and Dow started moving up here. And that's when I told you last week that NASDAQ is in the crapper, and that we have a lot of vulnerability in the NASDAQ and in chip stocks. And for you not to touch or go long tech stocks or chip stocks, because you're going to get into big trouble and you're going to be a bottom picker. And I made you guys give me a pinky promise that you weren't going to play any of those things. And I know a lot of you broke that rule. That's on you. You're now suffering. Now you've learned that you need to come here and listen to Uncle Roger because Uncle Roger knows better than you. So now let's move on. So we're seeing most sensitivity still exposed to technology stocks, even though on the down low, a lot of the other sectors have also succumbed. But if you look at consumer staples, look, 71%. If you look at healthcare, 79%. If you look at real estate, 90%. Wait a minute. Hold on. Aren't those the sectors I told you to buy last week? Real estate, healthcare, consumer staples, Coca-Cola, home building stocks. Remember that? XLU, utilities. Do you guys remember that? I didn't tell you to go buy tech. I didn't say for 2 weeks now, I've been talking about staying away from tech. So how are we now? We are now developing more value. We are now developing more value towards defensive stocks like utilities, like communication services, like consumer staples, and like healthcare. You're obviously going to ignore communication services because you all know that this was caused by Meta last week, and Meta is not going to stand up under pressure to the market being down 900 points. So we're going to throw this in the toilet, and we're going to be focused on utilities, real estate, consumer staples, and healthcare. Hey, aren't those the 3 sectors or 4 sectors you told me about last week? It was. You know, if you guys come to this show, you would have completely avoided getting screwed last week, like everybody in the pit did. Short, 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 short. Did you see me going long last week? Did you see Clyde going long last week? We did, yes. Coca-Cola, which was up over 100%. Good, Angie. Good. Hey, we got 437. You see, when people realize that they can't do it on their own, they decide to come in here. It's smart. I applaud you. Clyde is here. He's listening on the other computer in bed. Gap to green alerts are not on Telegram. You get notice of gap to green alerts on Telegram. They are posted like all the other alerts in the members channel, Lori. So if you have regular free Telegram, then you have gap to green Telegram alerts like everybody else, and you're good to go, and you don't need Cam. That's right, because you listen to me. Keep it going, Dr. Serena. Keep it going. Keep it going. Keep it going, Dr. Serena. Long time, right? Yes, listen to what Brian just said. Exactly. Just notifications. Exactly. Huge win spot. Good. Good. I like to hear that. You know what's interesting? I haven't heard any complaints here. Have you guys been upset about any of my services? No. All right, we're about to get into the nitty gritty. Good morning, Jacques. So, defensive. All right. So, gold is not moving up, which means there's fear of a recession, not of inflation. Same thing is for crude oil. And remember, I gave you the level right here. And if I said if we don't go above here, no upside, I did. And bonds are seeing flight to quality, and there's a strong resistance level right at the 100. Volatility is telling us that this is panic selling. Panic selling is not sustainable. You should have, Carlos. That's the word on the street for most people. They should have entered earlier. Yes, new lows, Dan. So this is panic. This is beyond. This is just people going crazy, panicking. This is when Uncle Roger opens us his 401k and starts layering 100 shares of QQQ at a time for every 100 points we go down, and holds it for 10 years. No, I'm not going to repeat what I just said. You've heard what I just said. I didn't say my trading account. I said my IRA, long-term investment. Okay. All right. So now let's put everything together and talk about stocks, sectors, give you a long list for today, tell you where you should be avoiding and all that stuff. Yeah, imagine how many we'll get here during the year if we can get 438 in the middle of beginning of August. We're probably going to get about 600 people here during the year. My goal is to get over 1,000 by the end of the year. Keep it going, Dr. Serena. We need to have an actuary here. All right. NASDAQ is extending losses from last week as concerns intensify that Federal Reserve is lagging in providing support for economy. They are not at all. Turmoil is increasing, expecting an emergency policy response, now assigning a 30% probability of a 25 basis point rate cut. I don't see that happening unless the S&P and the NASDAQ really drops. One of the biggest reasons, if not the biggest reasons we're seeing what we're seeing today is because Warren Buffett sold 50%, reduced his stake in Apple by 50%. Remember, he's a value investor. Yes, going to be a lot of emails to read, and I don't mind answering all of them. That's why I have Clyde and Mia and Bonnie and Clyde, so they can help me answer emails, Angie. Wall Street average ended in the red with benchmark 500 sliding into an 8-week low, NASDAQ 100 to a 2-month low, the Dow holding on, only a 3-week low. And if you look at the Dow Jones, which I'll show you right now, by the way, there you go, Penny. There you go. Now, let's look at the Dow, because the Dow still is the broad market. Well, you'll be happy to know that we are at fair value right now. We are at fair value. We're not below fair value. We're not above fair value. We're literally at fair value on the Dow right now. Roger, what does that mean? Well, if you guys took my full-time trading class, you would know what that means. Right at the annual VWAP, right there. Right there. We're below the 50-day, 100-day, right at the VWAP, and above the 200-day. We're either going to bounce to the 200 or we're going to bounce from here. But we are now not below fair value. We are now at fair value for the year. We are not overbought. That fear that Warren Buffett has, we're not there anymore. Let's look at Apple, which went up on Friday. We are twilight zone on Apple. We're reaching a zone of support on Apple. Oh, we're going to have the most beautiful gap to green here when this thing turns around, folks. We're going to have such a beautiful gap to green here. I can't even tell you. Anyway, we still have some room. Keep your eye on Apple today. Keep your eye on Microsoft today. Microsoft is already below the 200-day moving average. We are in deep value area. I would probably be buying Microsoft as a longer-term investor around these levels. Just FYI. I like Microsoft around this area. Okay. But again, not for trading, for investing, longer-term investing. Investing. If you have a huge IRA, maybe buy 50 shares of Microsoft, buy 50 shares of Apple. Don't go buying 1,000 shares of Apple, just a little bit, okay? Let's continue. That's what I'm going to be doing in my Fidelity account today, as soon as I'm out of here with you guys. Carlos, what did Carlos say? Carlos says, I should have entered these programs before. Yes, the pit has been a huge win spot. If you guys have been benefiting from me last week in the pit and have not been experiencing what most folks are, the pain most folks are experiencing right now, post it in the Telegram channel. Did I keep you guys out of trouble or what? Did I keep you out of trouble last week in the pit? Actually, better than out of trouble. Well, you'll send me, hopefully I'll get some emails from you guys. Hopefully I'll get some love letters after you liquidate Lulu and Enphase. You know who you are. Labor Department showed Friday payroll only rose by 114,000, significantly below the 176. So employment is not that strong right now. Unemployment rate is unexpectedly climbed to a 2.75 year high. This is something that the Fed can use as leverage right here. They can. No, don't post on Telegram. Post here or send me an email and I'll repost it. Yep, gap to green is. Yeah, send me an email. Let me know. Let me know if I've helped you guys. Because if I could help you in a period like this, imagine what I could do when the market is trending and everything is nice and hung. That's what Murmus said a few weeks back. He sent me an email. He said, I'm making money in a crazy market like this. I can only imagine what would happen if the market was trending. Folks, we would be holding our winners in the pit. Imagine a 95.8% win rate, holding those winners 3-4 times as much. Holds on filling the gap. Like this. This is what gap to green is based on. Filling this gap. When it comes back up, filling this gap. Apple filling this gap. So the more gaps we have, the more trades we'll have for gap to green. We didn't have a lot of gaps before earnings. Imagine the trade when this starts filling up. That's gap to green. That's gap to green. Thanks, Rich. I appreciate it. So yeah, gap to green is going to be firing on all fours when this downside is over and we start moving. Imagine all the trades, opportunities I have. Thank you, Eric. Ooh, Dr. Serena, 466 watching. I like that. Let me post this here. Let me post this here. Yeah, Richard, it's beautiful. It's beautiful for our shorts. You should be doing the Chuka dance right now. Anybody in the pit should be doing a Chuka dance right now. So what did Goolsby say on all of this? Central banks will not overreact to any single report. You see that? Noting that policymakers will receive a lot of data before the Fed's next meeting. Speaking after the release of the weaker than expected employment report, stated that the Fed's job is to discern through the line of data and proceed steadily. If unemployment is going to go up higher than neutral, that is exactly the kind of pinching on the side of mandate the law says the Fed has to think about, which is what they're doing. Yeah, you can get Telegram on your phone. Yes, very easy to see this, but was it easy to see it before it started happening, Avatar Adventure Studio? Because Uncle Roger was telling it to you 2 weeks ago before it was happening. We are now expecting a 95% chance of a 50-point basis cut at the September meeting. Don't get too ahead of itself. We got a lot of earnings this week, which are going to be taking back seat to global economy. We got ISM manufacturing data. We got S&P global manufacturing data. Europe is down 2.2%, tracking a sell-off in equity markets worldwide and escalating fear of a U.S. recession. Now, folks, I want you guys to understand something. A recession and an inflation are two different things. Commodities will react to the listen and listen good. Commodities will react really good to upside if we have fear of inflation. But commodities don't respond by going higher if there's fear of recession, because a recession is bad for economy, all economy. So in an economy, everything tends to come down. So it's very important for us to discern whether commodities are interpreting inflation or a recession. Okay. And typically the first part is recession, is inflation. But in this case, because we're not seeing upside in gold or energies, they are actually pricing in a recession. So the question now is inflation or recession? Inflation or recession? Okay. So I want you guys to know that. Hedva says out of trouble. Yes. Good. Good for you, Avatar. All I want is some nice emails from you guys this morning about how much you love the pit and how much you've made on Enphase and Lulu. I think I deserve that. China closed lower today, tracking a global sell-off through losses were limited after a private survey indicated a pickup in the nation's service sector. China's council guidelines aimed at stimulating local consumption. Semiconductor stock lost ground on Monday while airline stocks outperformed. We're going to be keeping an eye on that. Oh, thank you, Angie. I appreciate you letting me know that. 473. Can we get up to 500 people today? Will Uncle Roger get emails today? Japan. Remember, Japan follows U.S. China does not. Japan does. Closed lower, posting the biggest one-day percentage drop since October 87. Pushed down by disappointing U.S. jobs data and a further rise in yen. Financial and export-oriented stocks led the decline on S&P. S&P Global reported Fidelity that Japan's service sector expanded in July following a slight drop in June as new orders saw the largest increase in 3 months and unemployment growth accelerated. So we got to be very careful today. Money is not going into cryptos. Now, 2-3 years ago when US was in the crapper, money was going into cryptos. Cryptos are becoming mature. They're starting to correlate with technology, which means those huge oversized gains that you saw from crypto in the last couple of years, bye-bye. Remember, the more efficient the market becomes, the more counter-trend it becomes, and the less trending it becomes. Look at the trends in commodities and futures in the early 70s, and look at the trends in commodities and futures right now. They went from being a mature market, from a speculative market to a mature market, which means too many people have their eyes on it. When two people have their eyes on something, the market gets arbitrage too much, which means it becomes really efficient, which means bye-bye crypto master, those huge 300-400% gains, bye-bye. Don't believe me? See for yourself over the course of the next year. Yeah, they were official. They were official. Eagle, they were official. Now, holding the overnight was not official. They were official. Don't try to downplay my trades in the pit. Look. Sell short Lulu or buy a put. Short Enphase or buy a put. There's nothing about a bonus here. What is I like the stock for a swing too. That's in regards to Enphase. It says it right here at 124. Lulu would make a great swing too. It's right there. Yes, they all looking good. So what you need to do is you have very specific instructions to say thank you, Uncle Roger, and send me a nice email with a screenshot of your profits. Eagle Beagle, Uncle Roger doesn't make mistakes like that. That's okay, Angie. Good for you. Lennar Homes also slid because a recession is not good for home builders either. Folks, what sector should we be in right now? Where's the money flowing into right now? I'm glad you asked. Oh, well, good. So what do you hey, we got over 500. Yay. Over 500. I love it. Yay, we broke a record. Told you we'd do it. We got it, Dr. Serena. You guys are the best. All right, let's continue. We got a lot to talk about today. We have a lot to talk about today. A lot. So let's continue. So where's the money moving into? Utilities. Don't bet on real estate, especially with interest rates. Interest rates going down. But remember, if there's a recession, it's going to be a big fight. So I would stay away. My suggestion, Fred, you know where flight to quality is right now? Utilities, consumer staples, and healthcare. Now, take a look at your recommendations from Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday in the VIP room. Do you guys remember what sectors I said go long? Consumer staples, utilities, and healthcare. That's right, CJ. Mazel tov. I love it. Ben, that's very, very nice. Very, very nice of you. Very, very nice of you. We're going to get some really good testimonials today. All right. Good. I am so glad I'm not sitting here going, I can't believe we bought NVIDIA and Tesla and Microsoft last week. They're going to go up. Yes, eventually they're going to go up. No. For 2 weeks now, I've been making you guys promise me that you're going to stay out of tech, that you're going to stay out of semiconductors, that you're going to stay out of all of that mishigas. All right. So we're still seeing real good strength in consumer staples. And by the way, consumer staples people need no matter what happens. Why did I go long Coca-Cola on Friday? You know why I went long Coca-Cola on Friday. Because of that. Need utilities. People still need utilities. People still need consumer staples. Focus on those today. Don't be going buying tech. Now, if you have a retirement account, and you have a lot of money in that retirement account and you want to start picking and averaging down, that's okay for the next 10 years. Don't do that for swing trades. Apples and oranges. Yes, Cam, the 500 begin. Speaking of Cam, customer service live from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. today. Don't forget, I'm going to be doing a seasonality class today at 1 p.m. Seasonality was very important. Very, very important. All right. And VIP room, where we're going to go through the second half of today, which is very important, is going to happen at noon today. All right. Okay. Now, we know what sectors we're going to focus on. We know what sectors we're not going to focus on. We're not going to focus on home builders. We're not going to focus on technology. We're not going to focus on Russell 2000. We're not going to focus on semiconductors. And we're not going to focus on Bitcoin. We are not going to focus on any of those unless we're short. Gustavo and Cam show from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. We're not going to focus on consumer discretionary. We're not going to focus on the QQQ. We're going to focus on the Dow Jones. We're going to focus on consumer staples and utilities because those are our best bets right now. All right, let's do some levels, okay? Now, today, folks, we're going to go a little broader. Why are we going to go broader? You need to go broader because we're not focused on the little picture right now. So, SPY, where's the SPY right now? The SPY is at the year-to-date VWAP. That level is at 512. You better be writing this down. The next level of resistance is at 530, the 100-day moving average. I did, R. I did. They're following, they're keying off of, I did, and I also said they're keying off of US. I did it, I did, and I also said they're keying off of US. That's right, Cam. That's the level. So, are you going to buy anything on the SPY? No. You're going to wait for it to get to the 100-day moving average. But Roger, you just said you could nibble a little bit on the SPY. I did. If you're for your retirement account, to leg into it little by little if you're going to hold for 10 years. Don't confuse that with swing trading. Apples and oranges. Okay, so the next level of support is the 200-day moving average. Roger, why are you looking at daily data right now instead of intraday data? Because intraday data is useless right now because the market is not triggered off intraday data. It's in panic mode. So we have to use daily data. Otherwise, it's useless. And plus, we're having big moves. Down 5%. Oh, you guys are going to love me after you close off Lulu and ENPH this morning. So the 200-day moving average is at 500 on the SPY. We're now at value area, so I'm not expecting a huge down move from here. And the next upside move is 530. Downside move, 500. Upside move is 530 on the SPY. What about QQQ? Let's look at QQQ. It's going to be raining all day today. We are at the 200-day moving average, and we are below value area. The value area is at 442.20. We are now near the 430 area. Resistance is at 556. The question is, are we going to go to fair value? Fair value is at 442. We typically move to fair value. Fair value is at 442. We're right now at 430. There's a good chance we're going to consolidate around here. Okay. What about SMH? SMH is also near 200-day moving average. It's past support area. There's a lot of value at 223. We're below value. This is complete panic. This is not based on value. We're not getting much of it. I think it's by the time it gets here, it's going to be category 1. We don't get a lot of storms over here. So I'm looking for some consolidation around here. I'm skeptical that the market is going to go much lower than the current level. In the short term, I think we're going to consolidate, maybe go higher. Remember, Monday is not a big directional day. And also the biggest downside moves in the market happen on Monday, which is why Uncle Roger and Matt like to trade Monday afternoons. We're not big on Monday. Today, all bets are off, but we typically take trades Monday afternoon. I do not know what is going to happen today. I don't know what trades I'll be taking today. I may not be doing anything today. All bets are off today. And I love I'm okay with that. I have to see what other positions we have in our other programs, if any. Matt has them in the office. I'm going to be leaving for the office in about 10 minutes. But we're below fair value area. On the SMH fair value, I would, right now, my advice to you would take the year-to-date VWAP and put it on all of your things, like I told you in the full-time trader class. The year-to-date VWAP right now is at 224. We're all the way at 206. So semiconductors are undervalued right now. Undervalued. We're below value area. Okay. What about the Dow Jones? Excuse me. Good for you, Fred. And again, if I've been helping you guys out, keeping you, navigating you from being out of trouble, here's my email address, roger@rogerscott.com. Send me an email. Let me know, or let me know in the pit today. We're at value area on the Dow Jones. We're literally at the value area. Now, notice on the SPY, Notice, I hope you guys are paying attention to this because I'm giving you a lot of value right now. I'll tell you what ETN Spotlight on bar chart is. I'll tell you. I have it highlighted. We are at value on SPY and we are at value on the Dow Jones. Now, those are the two biggest indices. Theoretically, we're in panic mode, so all bets are off, but we should stay around value area. We shouldn't move too much below value area. And if we do move below value area, we will come back to value area because this is a value area and hedge funds are seeing this area as us not being overpriced right now. This is overpriced. This is not. And NASDAQ and S&P and SMH were below value area. Remember, markets tend to exaggerate their moves. They overreact in the short term. Value area on the QQQ, which is where we should be going to, is at 442. We're all the way at 429. So there's a good chance we're just going to stick around here, maybe break lows a little bit, and then maybe start going higher. If I start seeing us going higher at the end of the day, I'm going to signal an alert for the strongest consumer staple and healthcare stocks that are going to be on my radar, not tech stocks. Tech stocks will wait till we're all the way up here, which is what I've been telling you for 2 weeks now. Thanks, Carlos. I wouldn't be buying SMH, Alan. I'd be buying the Qs and the SPYs. Or maybe like a little Microsoft. I'm talking about 10-year stocks that you want to hold for 10 years. 10-year holds. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going into my Fidelity account as soon as I get out of here, go to work, and I'm going to be start, and I'm not going to look at price. I'm just going to nibble a little bit. That's what you do during periods like this. That's what normal human beings do for investing purposes. Don't combine investing and trading. They are separate from each other. Okay? You see, I have common sense too. So those are the key levels we need to pay attention to. What about RSP? Let's look at RSP, equal weighted SPY. If you take away all those stocks away, we are right now at our value area. Look, equal weighted SPY is at value area. There's a lot of price discovery here. I think we're getting a little bit overdone. Unless a new catalyst comes about. Warren Buffett, NASDAQ, I'm just not seeing it. And remember, we're done with FANG earnings, and FANG earnings have downpriced all of those value already. Look, this is FANG before earnings. This is FANG after earnings. They are now pricing in lower value. That is already priced in. It is already priced in. Right. Exactly, Penny. Look at that. We got 20% more people here today. All right. Let's go through my favorite stocks to the upside and downside. Somebody asked me about UV, UL, or Unilever. It's a consumer staples. Remember, I recommended it to the long side? It's a consumer staples, cleaning, preparation. These stocks don't get bent out of shape too much. Let's see how the stock has done. It's not in Microsoft, I promise you that. Yeah, it was up $1.49 and it's now down it's right here. It's at the 8-day EMA. These are the stocks you want to start. These are the stocks you're going to be looking at today. So I'm going to give you a list. I'm going to do the QQE, but it usually doesn't do anything in the beginning of the day. It doesn't usually give us a pre-open. Oh, today does. Okay, 112. So so we closed at value. We're now all the way over here. We're below value on the QQQ. Remember, this isn't FANG stock. This is everything. This is QQQ's everything, the entire equal weighted. And I told you that the problem was not just in the FANG stocks. I told you that we are seeing a problem in the QQQ. That's and in the NASDAQ 100. I showed you this beginning of last week. Is there good stocks other than inverse ETFs? Does he? Again, somebody's asking about marriage proposals before he looks at stocks. Does he? Maybe that's what I'm about to talk about right now. So let's get into that, shall we? Are you guys enjoying this session and getting some value out of it? I sure hope so. We're going to do the short side first. Somebody asked about, Duzzy asked about stocks to the short side. Let's talk about those stocks. Moderna. Been talking about this stock for a long time. Micron. Been talking about this stock for a long time. These are to the short side. My favorite bank stock, Wells Fargo. Good, good, good. I guess if not, we wouldn't have over 500 people here, right? No, we talked about VIX levels, and I told you we're in panic zone. I showed you this chart, and I said, this is COVID, and this is where we're at right now. We're in panic zone. Markets are not being driven by value right now. That means it's time to start nibbling a little bit. All hell's breaking loose. Wells Fargo. Am I going to start picking stocks making new highs right now to short? No, I'm going to find stocks that have been coming off. Hey, how about this stock? Does anybody remember this stock? Thanks, Jill. Anybody remember this stock? The stock from last week. We may start seeing upside by the end of this week on this stock. It's at the 100-day moving average. Alcoa. Every stock that's on my list today is exactly the same stock that was on my list last week. Nothing has changed. I'm still selling the same stocks. Look, we're below the averages on Alcoa. Look, lower highs. General Motors. Below the 200-day moving average. I would wait till the end of the day for these. FCX. I'll give you long stocks too. Don't worry. Does anybody out there help you better than Uncle Roger does to stay out of trouble? I want to know. FCX, not good. FCX doesn't do well when economy slows down. There's less demand for metals. Hey, I told you about this stock last week to short. Nice, Greg. Good to hear that. Week before this all happened. Yeah, you got to wait till the end of the day. Airlines don't do well when we're entering a recession. No, you're the best. Thank you, Fred. Be careful, be careful, be careful. Airline stocks don't do well. But again, a lot of these stocks could be bottoming out. We won't know till the end of the day. Ray says, no, not even close. Be careful, be careful, be careful here, guys. Be careful. Be careful. Remember, chips and QQQ starting to get undervalued. But I have to give you these anyway because they're the weakest. So I'm telling you, I'm giving you the full picture. I'm not just saying sell these stocks. I'm also showing you how QQQ, because I know that some of you have very selective hearing. QQQ is under fair value. There's a good chance it'll start going higher. All right? Just keep that in mind. So you don't want to just jump into these, okay? Now, let me give you stocks that I like to the upside. What's the sector of the day? XLU. Adam, you were asking about this. It's definitely XLU. And if you want another one, it's XLP. Whoops. Those are the two sectors on my watch list. Good, Ivano. Good. Now let's talk about stocks. I'm not screening for earnings, and I'm not screening for correlation. Look at this stock. Holex. Who's been telling you about cigarette stocks for second week in a row now? Only down $1.80, only down 1.89%. Mm-hmm. That's the kind of stocks you want. ADP, we got to be careful right now because if employment is going to be messed up, it'll impact this stock. But so far, it's looking good. Finally, a telecom stocks. 510 people. Oh my goodness, look at this, up 4% this morning, probably earnings, but it's definitely looking good. NVS, told you about this stock last week. Look at this, only down 1.66%. A utility stock on our list. I talked about TLT, and I said how it's flight to quality right now. It's overreaction. If you're seeing an overreaction on the QQQ, you're seeing an overreaction on the broad market. Look at that. We're hitting the EMA right now. That's very, very nice. Oh, Matt and I are going to have a field day towards the end of the day today, if the market cooperates. Buying stocks like Campbell's Soup. Look at this baby. And by the way, look at Campbell's Soup this morning. Do you see why I bought Coca-Cola on Friday? People like Coca-Cola no matter what. Tyson Foods, defensive. Smuckers. Obviously, you're not going to buy 5 consumer staple stocks, but I'm just showing you what's moving right now. Okay? All right. Now, the game plan. QQQs are getting a little bit towards value area. Blue chips are still above value area. That means I'm going to start looking for these stocks to bottom out. What am I going to be looking at? I'm going to start looking for QQQ to go above the 430 level. 430 level. If it doesn't go above 430, I'm not even going to be looking to the long side. 430 on the QQQ, 430, 431. On the SPY, the level we want to see before we start getting gung-ho happy to the upside is 519. 519. Dow Jones, which is down quite a bit as well this morning. The level we're going to be looking at is 39,000. 39,000. Tony, good morning. You missed everything. 39,000 on the Dow. Now, there's a good chance we're just going to consolidate today. That's a good sign. That's a sign that we don't want to bleed anymore. I'll be updating you in the Telegram channel and in the regular channel all day long. If you don't have Telegram, the free one or the premium one, you're really trading with one hand and one leg behind your back. All right? Keep your eye on these and see whether we break above these levels. If we break above these levels, I may start buying very defensive stocks. If we don't break above these levels, I'm not going to be buying anything except maybe trickling in a little bit for my retirement account. Investing and swing trading are two different things. If you have any questions, any comments, any feedback, you're going to email me at roger@rogerscott.com. And I would appreciate if you would send me an email and let me know how you did on ENPH and Lulu if you held it overnight. Bye, guys. I'll talk to you later. Have a great day. I'm heading to work. Hopefully, I won't get too wet. And I hope I've kept you guys completely out of trouble. I completely kept you to the short side for the last week or so. I've given you all the danger zone, and I've given you all those levels. And if you listened to me, you would have been completely out of danger this week. Matter of fact, you would have made a lot of money last week, as my folks did in the pit. And again, look what Clyde did. Short. Last Monday, short. Last Monday, short. Last Tuesday, short. Last Wednesday, short. Last Thursday, short. Friday, short. Short. Bye. Have a great day, everybody. Customer Service Live, Cam and Gustavo show. I'll see you in my VIP room at noon. Here's the link. And I'll see you at my class where I'll be doing seasonality today. A lot of important seasonality, because there's a lot of seasonality stuff at play right there. Bye, guys. Have a great day. Thank you all so much for your nice help. Had a nice week in the pit here. Good. Glad to hear that, Tony.